Hey everyone, happy Friday. I am really looking forward to us ending this week because tomorrow's the Christmas party and we will be announcing our team member of the year there at the party. So I'm really looking forward to that and announcing who he or she may be. This week I have a couple of things to share, protocol updates that I was going to try and put in the video to save you some reading time. Here's the first. I've been noticing that we have been walking dogs specifically outside of fenced areas, which is okay when we absolutely have to do that, maybe especially at the hospital side if they're a pet who's potentially contagious, or if they needed maybe walking a little bit more, that's okay. We like to reserve those for really specific situations. But when we do that, I want to remind that one of our AAHA standards and our protocols is to walk dogs on a double leash outside of a fenced area. So that would mean using 2 slip leashes, both around the throat, making sure that they're snug, using 2 leashes at one time to walk in those areas. And also, common sense, let's stay away from the road. If we're walking a pet who's potentially contagious or infectious, we want to make sure that we don't walk them in client areas as well. I've seen some walking up front in the grassed area near the ditch. That's definitely where people would come in with that new puppy and set them down in the grass before coming inside. So that's not a good idea to walk there. Just as a reminder on that. On a similar note, this morning at rounds we discussed this, and I wanted to share it with the rest of the team as well. We want to make sure that we're really using our minds and thinking about the common sense of where to keep pets who we have an instinct to put in isolation when there's sick pets there. So it oftentimes is that when we get a pet who's a stray, maybe with an unknown vaccine history, or maybe if we have a new puppy that belongs to a team member or a client who's dropping off these unvaccinated pets, we have an instinct to put them in the isolation suite. But we've been seeing a lot more parvo cases, and to me, the isolation room is a room for heightened risk. So I wouldn't want to put a seemingly healthy pet with a questionable vaccine history into this heightened risk area. Those pets, it's perfectly safe to put them in the dog ward, or if they're well behaved and quiet and won't be disruptive to the cats, we could put them in the cat ward too, in a kennel space there. So let's make sure that we think of those things. On the flip side of that, if you have a pet who's coming in and who is apparently sick or contagious, maybe this is a dog who comes in who's really looking really snotty, maybe they're coughing, maybe they've got vomiting or diarrhea, and they're sick, we don't want to put those pets, regardless of their vaccine history, into an area of general population. We'd like to see you put those pets into isolation, and of course we'll get them seen as soon as possible. Those are really not ideal for a drop-off unless a pet absolutely needs to drop off, or if we're going to be hospitalizing them. Those would be good visits to keep the owners here with them anyways, because if there's a sick pet, we're going to need consent. It's going to be a lot of discussion, and we don't want to put the pet into a risky area if the owner could just maybe wait with them in an exam room. The idea, again, putting pets in safe areas. If you have questions about that, or if you need further explanation, I urge you to see your assistant manager, ask a doctor, and then you certainly, I'm here to help you as well. So those are some notes on walking and isolation. Really excited to share that we have organized some manager on-call responsibilities, and we're going to try and start these next week. Until then, so from today until you hear further announcement, you can continue to call in to me if you're going to be sick, or if you have to miss work or have some kind of schedule exception for any reason. But beyond that, once I give you the go-ahead, we're going to employ a manager on-call schedule. So how you'll find who the manager on-call is to go into your shift planning, into the Humanity app, and you'll click on schedules, choose manager on-call, and you'll be able to see a list of who's available there. What I love about this is that you'll be able to see their contact information just by clicking on their name, and you can contact them immediately, so you don't have to keep up with storing extra numbers in your phone or anything like that unless you choose. So when the manager's on call, that's the person that you're going to call if you're going to miss a shift for any reason, or if you need some guidance on a particular situation that's urgent and can't wait. Maybe these things are happening in the evenings or on the weekends or before or after you come into work. So those would be the times that you would call them. These people are also available if you're working on a weekend and there's not a manager in the office for you to call for advice. Maybe there's something that's not working right, or there's a problem that's come up, or a particular client situation that you really need some guidance on. If you would need to call somebody, you're welcome to call those people as a first line of defense. And they're going to be prepared with guides and with schedules to help you through whatever that you need. So that's the plan for those. Again, we'll be starting that next week. I'll give you a clear indication of when we'll be transitioning to that. Also this week, really proud of our assistant managers for helping us organize a better evaluation process. So this is something that has not been working very well as we've grown, and I'm excited to have better organization and again to have our assistant managers involved in these. So just this week we started passing out some self-evaluations for team members. So a self-evaluation is going to be where if you have an evaluation time coming up, you have an opportunity to reflect on your own performance, reflect on your own goals, put those in writing so those can be topics of conversation during an actual evaluation with your assistant manager and human resources, so that we can make those things happen for you. It's kind of an opportunity also if there's something that's not working for you, if you need extra help in an area, to go ahead and outline those things so that we can really use the time as valuable time to make those things happen. The other thing that we did was we transitioned these into paper, as well as peer evaluations into paper. I'm not saying this is permanent, but it was not working to be emailing those to people for whatever reason. So we're trying paper to see if that works. A peer evaluation is where you receive an evaluation on somebody that you work with. There's a few questions that you would answer, comments that you can put in. If you find that this person has challenges in certain areas, you can outline those, and you can certainly praise them on the things that you really appreciate them for. Each of those evaluations, a self and a peer, are going to come with some due dates at the top, so you make sure that you honor those. Sometimes if you're too late returning those, your responses might not be heard. We might have to move on with the process. So make sure that you pay attention to those. For now, we'll work on putting those in your locker, again, on paper, and see how that all works out. And we'll keep you updated if we have to change that again, or if we find a better way to do things. I'd love your feedback on how that works. So if you ever want to pop in the office and give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on how something's going, please do that, because that really, really helps in how we guide things to work in the future. Another exciting thing that we installed this week was a barcode scanner, and we have a couple more coming. So the barcode scanner is now at the front desk. And what we're doing with that is we're starting out with retail items so that we don't make mistakes on choosing the exact item, maybe out of a line, that we are selling to clients, and we can make sure that our record and our inventory is really accurate for those supplies that people need. So again, with foods, with retail items like treats, candles, collars, all those things, we decided to start with those items, and we've started logging those into our inventory using the little UPC code or the barcode. And eventually I'd love to see that grow to include our pharmacy, maybe some of our hospital and resort used products like cleaning supplies or office supplies, paper supplies, those types of things. So the possibilities are kind of endless right now. We just have to start with different kind of segments of our inventory and get those extra scanners in. The goal for the next month would be to get scanners installed at the front desks, in the lab pharmacy, and have one kind of towards our inventory areas so that we can make adding items a little bit easier. They're really simple to use if you are going to be using one. I know that we have a couple customer care team members who have been using them this week that could give you a quick tutorial. It's this easy. You just scan it and it goes boop, and your item is taken out of medical history. It'll give you a pop-up window where you'll be just given the one choice of the item that you've chosen. So maybe you're selling a bag of DH. Once you scan that item, instead of giving you all the different options for canine or feline DH, the bag size or the bite size, it's just going to show you the one item so that you can choose and you can edit the quantity that you've done. I really, again, love this because there's so many times that those 18-pound bags look a little bit like the 30-pound bags just because they're bigger. So a lot of times we make mistakes on those, or in the near future when we get to the pharmacy, we make mistakes on eye medications especially. So I'm really excited to see those things potentially be resolved by this. That kind of thing came from a suggestion from a team member a while back, and it just took us some time to find the right one. So just remember, if you ever find solutions in your mind that you think might be a possibility for us, bringing them up can make a big difference, because I think this is going to be hugely impactful for us. So thank you to the person who recommended that before. Sorry it took us some time, but here we are now making it happen, and I think it's going to be great. Don't forget to give me your feedback, because it really, really does make a difference. Okay, well, I'll see you at the Christmas party on Saturday with bells on. Have a great end of your week, and be safe.